Yes. Good morning again, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. For those who are new, we welcome you, and we thank those who are regulars on the line for coming back. Our speaker today is Sister Gloria. She has been doing a series now. I think this is the second month. Sister Gloria is a diabetic expert where she teach diabetic nurses, and she also do program to reverse how you can reverse your diabetes, and she do this in a holistic way as well. So this morning we are pleased to have her again with us one more day, and the next voice you would hear is from Sister Gloria Simon. Thank you, sis. Sister Simon, you are muted. Sister Simon, you're muted.
Yeah, I've seen it. Hello, hello. Yeah, I've done it. Yes, that's right, sure. Yes, okay. Right. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Right, okay, brilliant. All right. Okay, last week, we'll not let this keep us back. Last week we did the labeling. Okay, we did really, it's important that we know what we are reading. And this week here, I'm going to give you another type of labeling. This is just ingredients. And we know the first ingredients that bear the heavy weight, we will see it first. So, you know, if you see something start with sugar, that product will be sweet. If that sugar starts with flour, we know that that is the main product in the ingredients. If it starts with salt, we know that that thing would be salty, and so on. So that is the heaviest product, the heaviest weight on that label. The last weight, as we can see, as they call it weight, is the last thing. So if you see salt there, then you know it's got little salt. If you see sugar down there, you know that there will be little sugar. So this is what when we're looking at the labels like this one with ingredients, this is what happened. Then we have another label that it's called the traffic light label. It's got green at the top. You will see green, and you will see sort of a yellowish color. That's medium. We'll tell you that in a minute. And then the next one is red. So we see red at the bottom, then yellow, and then green at the top. So if you see your label stating that it's got lots of green on it, that's a healthy choice that you are going to make. If you see your label is a sort of a yellowish color, that's an okay choice. But if you see it with a sort of a red label, you know that the less health choice that would be. So why did they make this label? This label here is a guideline to develop to support the amount of fats in there, the amount of sugars in there, and the amount of saturated fats and salt. So when we are looking for this label, this is what we will see. So either in the drinks, the government sets out this sort of a label, so it's just quick to read. However, if you are adopting a low carb or a Mediterranean diet is lots of greens and more olive oil, and you get more of it, not a lot of meat as they would put in like in the British, and different countries. But the Mediterranean is one of the best because they'll eat a lot of vegetables, and it helps us to really to realize that yes, the body does need a lot of vegetables. So as we can see here, the food is set in a traffic light way, so we can pick out the best of foods very quickly. However, sometimes some food may have things as red, but that does not mean to say it's danger, because maybe it might say a product is made of all olive oil. Olive oil is good to eat, and they might say the oil in there or the fats in there is high. Just read it again to make sure that the product that you are having is not only concentrating on the traffic light, but on the quality of the foods that you are eating. So let's go now to look at some sort of foods as well. As I said, nutrition, because let's go back to here again. When we have these foods and we choose these foods, we can see here that it affects the whole body. This is what we must get really into our minds. When we eat, every ounce of that juice of that food that is sucked through by your villi and your small bowels is going to be taken from your head right down to your toe. So we need to really look at a meal, a plate of food on the table as a prayer, because it's looking after the physical body, the social body, the psychological body, and the spiritual body. So always plan our meal in advance so we wouldn't have to put lots of carbs and the plate is full with carbs, because carbs gives us energy. 80% of the foods that we eat on the earth, God has put carbs in it, because otherwise, if we didn't have that foods for energy, we'll be just walking around very slow, thinking slow. The heart will be working slowly, and everything would be slowed down because we are not getting enough of that energy food. And as human beings, God knows that we've got to work, we've got to run, we've got to do this and that, and therefore 90-something% or 80-something% of the food that we eat will have carbs in them. So we have to make informed choices of the types of food. And when we are doing this, we want a healthy, balanced diet. That is the main thing we need to do, and we feel really good. But a balanced diet. We need protein, we need carbs, we need fats, we need vitamins, all types of vitamins. We need nutrition to nourish this body, and also all of our zinc, our iron, or magnesium for heartbeat, or magnesium or potassium, and all those things for the nervous system. We need those to get us a balance. So we need a balanced diet. If we are having a diet with no fats at all, then obviously the brain wouldn't be working well. We'll be hearing things that we shouldn't hear. Our balance would not be right. Our nervous system, all our electrical wires would be crushing on each other. So we need that fat in the body so that the muscles and joints and everything can be well balanced. And also, if we are fasting, like when we were talking about fasting, some people will fast for maybe long time. We need to have a little salt in the water, because that's for your nervous system. Otherwise, you put your hand out and you'll be shaking your balance, and everything will be uncontrolled, because your magnesium and your potassium and things that you cannot see in the food, we know that when you start eating the food again, they will come back. But we need to put a little bit of salt if we are going on long fasting. And obviously we need to hydrate the body, because your brain using up the water. And if you didn't balance the body with the water, then your heart is compromised, because he needs the water. You have all those volumes of blood and that needs water. Your kidney needs the water. Your liver needs the water. Everywhere needs the water. So we need to balance it off really well and think about it before we start. If we are not feeling well and we go on the fasting, remember, everything will be compromised. So we need to really check that out. Am I feeling well enough? Or am I feeling dizzy? What is it? Is it because I am dehydrated? Because when you're dehydrated, you would not balance properly. You would not think properly. Everything will be compromised. So think about these things before we get into a special way of trying to keep our bodies healthy. So nutrition, we are looking at here that it is we need it. We need it. And nutrition, let's look and see what it's really saying. It may be a position where the food or the drinks as healthy, we need it as healthy as possible. So we said we will kind of balance it out with not having too much processed foods. Let's look at the foods with fat foods and sugary foods. Let's see what happens and how much we need in each of those. The fat foods and sugary foods contains very small amount. When you see that on your label, fats and sugars in that food, it contains very small amount, like for instance, small grams of fats or less than 0.5 per 100 gram. So some foods might say, look, we have here 0.5 per 100 gram, either of the fat-free sugary foods. So you might really get more sugars than fat. But if you read the label very carefully, you would see less than 0.5% of fats. Let's look at the one that says sugar-free. Look at that, because that does not mean to say really that is sugar-free. So look at your labels really carefully, and when they say sugar-free, it might be something else that is added. So foods can be high in fat in those areas. So look out free foods can be high in fats, but can still be suitable for people with low carbs. So if you're having low carbs and they said it's sugar-free, still look at it, because it could be like a Mediterranean diet, because they use little sugar, and and you are choosing a dietary approach. That one will be good because it's like a Mediterranean diet. If we look at something like fat-free foods, we will see here that it could be high in sugar, because they wouldn't give you a whole lot of fat in your mouth and there's no sugar. So look at that, because they have to stimulate you to take the food. So therefore they might say fat-free, but that food might have high sugars. So look at the label again, which could mean they are not suitable for your dietary approach. Let's look at another type of labeling. On the label, you will see low fats. Low fats contain less than 3 grams. If you see it's higher than 3 grams of fat, then you know that it's okay. So low fats or 5 grams is less than 0.5 per 100 gram in that product. So we have to get used to the labeling. 5 grams is 0.5 grams per 100 gram. So we just going to look at those labels really carefully, because it's important. They will put things there and we just take it and read it, and then we are having too much fats, too much sugars, and they said, all right, then, the people would buy it because this is what we are saying. These foods may be suitable for low-fat diet approach. If they said it's low fats, then you should have at least 0.5 grams per 100 gram, okay? And as we go on with low fats, is less than 5% fats. You could see that on the label. Low fats could be less than, you might see the percentage and not the grams. Just look at these three things together. The 5% is low fat, if you see that, or less than 0.5 grams is low fats per 100 gram. So we need to write these things down so we wouldn't get confused when we go shopping and just take things up and have it. But if the serving, listen to this now, if the serving that you see, sometimes they enlarge the servings so you could get a bigger piece of pie if you have to buy the pie or you have to buy a product. So the larger the portion size, obviously you're going to have more fat. And it's just as so if you make a pie or you make a dish and you take a large portion of that dish, obviously you're going to be having more fats in there. So we need to look at the portion sizes. And if it's in our head, we weigh it out like 100 grams, then we know that that would have only a 0.5 grams of fat in it. Okay? So reduced fat, we might see a product said reduce fats and sugar. Look at this properly. It contains less than 30% of fats or sugar than the regular size. For example, reduced fats, they might say that that's in crisp, but you might pick it up still in the crisp. That can still have more than 20 grams. If a crisp packet of crisp has more than 20 grams of fat per 100 gram, you know that you're having too much fats in that crisp. So do check your package very well. And reduce the sugars, like they said, like jams, they would put on that reduce sugar in the jam, but the jam could be made out of sweet, like apricots or some other sweet fruits. So there might be jam, and the jam might be plain jam, but yet it could have an increase in sugar in it. So this can still have more than 40 grams of sugar if per 100 gram if we have this sort of a jam. So we need to look at sort of a jam things that we are having so we would not be having extra sugars in there. And then I'll try to see if I can finish off having added sugar in. And also when we said about 80 to 97% of fat free, I will give you something on that. And is there anything, such thing like diabetic foods? Is there any such thing like diabetic foods? No, that was banned many, many years ago. And if you see any product in the shop that says that this is for that people who have diabetes, that person could go into prison. Because some years ago, the foods were made and they were saying for diabetics. And the people were just buying the whole cakes and would sit down and have the whole cakes. Or if they were buying like jam roll, whatever they were buying for diabetics, yes, they might put artificial sugars, but then it's still got sugar. It's the same sort of a sugar in there, and therefore people were just having it. So watch it. If you see anything labeled like that, you know that that is absolutely wrong. The government doesn't know about it, and then your diabetes group would not know anything about it. So we need to look at that and make sure that we are not having too much of those sugary things, because having a high glucose level, that makes the blood heavy, sticky, acid, and sluggish. And the same thing I'm always really going on that acidness. That acidness for people who have diabetes is not acid like a lemon, but acid like if you're getting inflammation. And hence the reason with the diabetes, you are more susceptible to all infections, because the blood is a little bit, the glucose level is a little bit higher than the normal level, and therefore that attracts the acidness, and your acidness will give like heat. Heat will be turn to inflammation, infection, and then infection diseases. And therefore, we need to really look at our balancing of having your glucose level really back to normal. Your pancreas has only got 2 hours to do this. He's got to keep up with what is given to him to do. Stay in his lane and make sure that all of us are well maintained, because that was given into him a duty to do that. Why only 2 hours? Because if the glucose level remains high in the blood, then the blood becomes a little bit sweeter, as I said, and more sticky and more acid. And if we didn't burn it out, then that glucose will eventually break down into fats. And if we still didn't burn it out, then we have our HDL. Our HDL is going to really clean up the 6,000 miles of blood vessels, taking all that fats or cholesterol back to the liver. And if the liver cannot cope with it and we're still not burning it out, then our LDL is feeling sorry for the liver and takes it in an open truck, like an open truck, and take it all the way, fitting it where he can in our body as triglycerides, and then also it's sticking at inside of our arteries because it's too much. The little truck is overflowing when he scrapes up all that from the liver and then takes it back into our bloodstream. So the HDL scrapes out all your extra cholesterol, take it to the liver, and the liver will process it if we give him the time, if we do the physical activity. If not, the LDL, which is, as they said, is the bad one, will still do a good thing, scrapes out from the liver again, and takes it all over the body where it's needed. But somehow, if the blood vessel is a little bit damaged, like a stick in the road or a rock in the road, if a car passes over it or a truck, their goods could be spilled. It's just like the LDL. If there any blockage there starts, then he will bump into that as he goes on to clear it all up, taking it where it goes, and therefore we start having blocked vessels and all sorts of things are happening. So we need to really take time, as they said, to be holy, but take time when we look after this body in all the foods that we have planned to eat. Make a list. Make a list in the week. So when we really like searching for a portion of scripture, take our time, a little bit there and a little bit here, we would learn gradually. So we wouldn't just walk into the supermarket and pick up things because it's on sale. We buy one and get 6 free. And we go home with a full baskets, maybe of biscuits or cakes or whatever we love, crisp or whatever it is. Make a list and stick to your list. If you can't do that, take a friend with you or family to assist that you would not do that. Do not shop when you are hungry. Do not shop when you are vexed, because to satisfy your own mind and conscience, you will take up two big chocolates, cake, and these are the things that's going to stimulate your brain to say, eat me, because I'm vexed about this and I'm vexed about that. Do not go shopping when you are vexed. Do not go shopping when you are hungry. Make sure that you look after your mental capacity. We'll just do a little bit of psychological eating as well before I leave. Not today, but I'll do that maybe like next week. I'll give a little tip on that. So for now, we will just stop there. And I hope that we got a little of what I have just said. So I'll give you some time, a little time. I don't know if it's 3 minutes or so, if you have any questions that you can ask.
Yes, good morning, Sister Gloria. It's Anita. Some
Yes.
people say that when you finish eat your food to go for a little walk. How does that help with the diabetes?
Okay, remember I just said that the pancreas has only got 2 hours and he's only 6 inches long, and he's got to make this hormone called insulin. And the insulin is like a key that opens all the cells in your body from your head to your feet. And then that glucose, because we eat to get energy, Energy is the glucose that's in the food. And that he brings down, sometimes we eat a big plate of food, with a lot of glucose in it. Say your glucose is going up to 200. He's got to bring down that within 2 hours. Because if you eat another meal, it will go up again, and another meal, it will go up again. So his duty is to bring it down right down to table level to normal within 2 hours. That's all he has. But when he's going 200 miles an hour to make that amount of insulin, if you get up and you do a little walk, you are helping him out. So he's only going to go 100 miles an hour.
Okay.
To bring it down.
So it's good
so
when you
finish eating your yes.
Yes, so when you finish your meal, it's good to go for a little walk to help to bring the insulin down.
It's good to go for a little walk. That's right, to bring the insulin down to help the pancreas live another day.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Because he's got to do that. Yeah, that's right. Is there any more questions? Anyone did set any goals? Can you share? Any goals? You must, when we get these presentations, you need to start setting goals for yourself, because none of us perfect. But you need to set some goals, and then you need to share to say how it's working for you, whether it's with your exercise, whether it's choosing the foods, whether it's your plate, you put your food in a smaller plate, or whatever it is. You're not going for seconds because you feel full enough. Make sure when we eat, we feel full enough so we wouldn't have to snack, because that's double work on the stomach and the juices and your heart. Because once the food in the stomach, the heart will send quite a volume of the blood that goes around your body will have to go to the stomach to break down that food. So that depletes the amount. If you continue eating and eat a very big meal, that is depleting the amount of blood that's going in the brain. That's why they are saying, if you are studying, or if you don't eat a big meal and then go and study, because the brain will be compromised, because most of that blood will have gone to the stomach to start breaking down that food, and the food needs to stay in the stomach for a certain time. It can't stay whole day crushing down the food, because we have just drank a big glass of water with the food. It's like putting food into a balloon and the stomach is trying to catch it. He wouldn't catch it. It will take too long in the stomach. So food and water in the stomach is not a very good idea. It's diluting your gastric juices and diluting your hydrochloric acid. And your hydrochloric acid is important to keep us healthy, because it makes like a natural antibiotic to fight bacteria, viruses, germs, and things like that, and help really to pull out our calcium and to make some of our B for the blood. And it's very important.
Yes, sister, I'm just saying thank you so much for your presentation. One of the things that I've taken on board is I used to avoid having much fats when I'm having my food. I lead quite a healthy lifestyle, but I've started to know the value of like avocado oil.
Yes.
And the avocado oil and and olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
So I've started to have more avocado oil and know the benefits of those stuff.
Yes.
And have a more balanced diet since I've been listening
Yes.
to your presentation. So I thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, the roughage and everything, the
Yes.
importance of having enough roughage. And like for instance, even sometimes I would have just like the orange juice. So now I will have like when I have orange and grapefruit, I make certain that I have the roughage, not just the juice itself, but have the roughage with it, because the roughage helps to sweep away what would be like built up cholesterol and those things. So
yes.
So I thank you very much.
And another little tip again for if you want juice and you're not feeling too well, what you're saying is really good to scrape the 25 feet in a small bowls. that's excellent. But if you want something like a green juice or something with a health thing in it as well, then if it's got less fibers in it, and we have it, always whirl it around in your mouth first, not to take a straw and drink the juices that we make, because you have your glands at the two sides of your face. So while we whirl around it, it stimulates them to make our enzymes. So we don't just swallow it with a straw. And then it gets down into your stomach. And within 5 to 20 minutes, that is gone through your blood system already. But you know, normal food, as you said, and the pieces, which is good, it stays in the stomach until the food is ready to leave. But juices, if there's no pulp in it at all, we whirl it around in the mouth, stimulate our enzymes in the glands at the two sides of our mouth, gets down into the stomach, and within that time it would leave, because there's not pieces in there that it has to mash up or anything like that. So that's if people are sick and they make juices. Yeah, that's as good as well.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay. Anyone else have any or of the goals that they have set that they can help someone? Okay, well, may God continue to bless us and help us to, as managers of this body, looking after this company. We have a big company to look after. We have the liver that is doing maybe 500 things, maybe a minute. Then we have the kidneys, which I want to do, but maybe when I come back, maybe later, another time, I'll try and go through that. That has nephrons. We have 1 million per kidney, 1 million of those tubules that takes out all the extra glucose and looks after us so well in one kidney. So we need to really, the nutrients that these organs are using for us, we need to look after them. We need to take time. And if our body is not feeling too well, we need to go to the park and sit down and think, why am I feeling dizzy? Is it because I didn't have enough water? Why is this and why is that? And really we will get the answer. We need to pause a little bit when we're not feeling well, and don't take it simple, because the body would not react in a strange way if it's well. So think about it and relax a little bit. Go to the park, take some bubbles, blow the bubbles, whatever you want to do to calm yourself down. That this body that is given to us, we are good managers of it. That's the main thing. Are we good managers of looking after these people that are working for us, and we don't pay them, we don't take them on holiday, we don't do anything? It's not fair. So we need to pause a little bit and give them time to take a breather sometimes.
Amen.
Hi, Sister Gloria, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry for coming in late. I've been following your entire presentation, and I wish to join Sister Carmen and others to say thanks for this very informative presentation. I have learned some things, the details behind why the health professionals encourage us to do certain things and discourage us from doing certain things. I've gotten some more details I did not have before. I
Yes.
recently started back my exercise program, walking and jogging. So one of my goals is to be consistent with that. 'Cause sometimes you
Yes.
start these things, but I think for me, the consistency is a challenge. We get so busy with so many things in life that don't always get to be consistent. So thank you, and I think it has encouraged me to have that goal of exercising more regularly and be consistent with it. So thank you for that. And the other one is not eating and drinking. Sometimes I drink a little between. So thank you. That's another goal for me, to try to cut that out, so the enzymes can do their work. Thanks.
Amen. Okay.